Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Paul, and in this Game Telecom video, we're going to be discussing and analysing tech news which, as usual, has popped up over the past 24 or so hours. We're going to start things out with Nvidia and the GeForce 20 lineup of graphics cards for mobile. If you're a desktop gamer, you know that the 2080 and the 2080 Ti are of course available, kind of. They are obviously in rather short supply, but still technically they are for sale. The 2070 meanwhile will be available in the next several days. But if you're a mobile gamer, if you want a 2070 or 2080 or what have you laptop, what type of release window are you looking at? Well, the website WCCF Tech claims to have sources which have told them the entire lineup of mobile GPUs which will be coming over the next several months along with the release windows for those cards. So it is imperative to realize that these are rumors, and there are a couple of things here which do make me slightly suspicious of the validity of these links, but we'll go into the things I find slightly off in just a moment. Let's talk about release windows then. For almost all of these GPUs, other than the 2080, the source claims that we're going to be seeing them in around the January timeframe, but the 2080 cards will be slightly later, and we may not see laptops featuring those GPUs until the first quarter of 2019. So as of the time I'm recording this, it could be 5 to 6 months before you could buy a shiny new laptop with a 2080 card. I'm putting that out there because obviously, if you're considering buying a laptop right this moment and you do want the extra performance, it's just worth noting that you might have to wait for quite some time. So if you're hoping to provide a gift for a loved one from Santa around the Christmas period, then, well, you might just have to wait. But what about the lineup of these cards? Other than the 2080, we'll also see the 2070 Mobility, the 2070 Max-Q Mobility, the 2060 Ti Mobility, 2060 Mobility, 2050 Ti Mobility, and finally the 2050 Vanilla, plain old, no chocolate, no strawberries Mobility GPU. Laptop thickness will be better regulated by Nvidia. That's not to say that Nvidia will enforce laptop thickness or anything like that, but the company will supply engineering resources to companies to better get the thickness of laptops under control, which obviously will mean portability increases for gamers who want to play titles on the go. The fact Turing is coming to mobile isn't a surprise. Not only does it make sense because, well, that's what happens to any GPUs when they come to desktop, they will of course make their way to mobile eventually as well, but we've also seen evidence of this. One example would be on GitHub, where the device TU104M1EAB was listed on a post, and we've also seen it in an Nvidia database as well, with once again the same ID, which obviously shows that the nomenclature is not new. There are, however, a couple of things which do make me scratch my head. Under the 2060, we've never actually seen a 1060 or a 960 Ti part for mobile. Of course, Nvidia are releasing an entire new lineup of cards, or GPUs, should I say, for mobile, but it does mean that there's not really recent precedents of this. The second thing, if we're once again picking on the 2060, is that we also see a lack of a Max-Q, meaning that only the RTX 2080 and the 2070 will have a Max-Q part. It's possible that one of the reasons we're seeing so few Max-Q designs is because of the height restrictions that have just been mentioned. This could possibly mean that the die itself would be different to that found on the desktop derivative, which could also mean manufacturing issues. Once again, this is something that Nvidia have not done with the 10 series of GPUs. Does this mean that these rumors are completely and utterly inaccurate? No, it just means that, as usual, have things with a nice healthy dose of salt before you believe the rumors. But with that said, I don't think it's very difficult to make a prediction that at CES 2019 there's a very good chance Nvidia will announce some form of mobile GPU featuring the Turing architecture. You can make that guesswork yourself. Just go ahead and check any Pascal GPU or Maxwell GPU release date, or even before that, look at the main GPU, for example the 1080 or the 980, and then go ahead and look at the release date of the mobile version of those parts. So the 980M or the 1080M, you get my drift by now. And generally speaking, you could pretty much predict that Okay, well, that GPU was released then, the mobile GPU was released then, therefore you can make a rough prediction. That's not to say that that's what this source has done. That is to say that if we do see some of these GPUs launched at 2019's CES, it wouldn't particularly surprise me because it would just make sense timeline-wise. Switching from Team Green to Team Red, let's discuss a slew of fixes that are being released for Linux and the Vega architecture. I say architecture in a generic way because we are also including various Vega 20 7nm GPUs as well. This has been discovered by the website forenix.com. There have been numerous exciting features found on the pull requests for the new Linux kernel, which will either be 4.2 or 5. These include, but are certainly not limited to, AMD Picasso APU support, Raven 2, and a whole slew of Vega 20 enablement code. This includes initial XGMI support, VCN, dynamic power gating, VCN JPEG, Raven Ridge GFX off support, GPU virtual machine and memory performance improvements, along with Vega 20 mGPU. Oh, and if you're wondering what mGPU means, is it like a mobile version? No, it simply means multiple graphics cards. So if you're running 2 or more Vega GPUs inside the system, this will better be able to control the fan profiles of those cards. So in short, the system will be able to detect there are multiple Vega cards and of course increase the fan speed accordingly because presumably the system would be generating more heat. What does this mean? Well, it's further evidence that AMD are getting ever closer to finalizing their support for these graphics cards and for the GPUs to be released to the public. It's almost certain that a code update such as this is going to reveal some key details of Navi, and that really is what we're going to have to wait for if you're focused purely on gaming. Vega 20, Vega 7nm if you prefer, is going to be firmly in the realms of high performance computing. And so Navi, which will be aimed at gamers, is going to be released at some point in 2019. Most would predict it's going to be the first or second quarter, although of course there is not a specific release window yet. But for those who are interested in Vega 20, either because you are in the environment of high performance computing or simply because you want to see how AMD are going to compete with Nvidia, who have a pretty good grip on the market thus far, along with how that's going to impact AMD's bottom line, then do stay tuned and keep up to date with the Vega announcements. Anyway, that's just about it for this particular video, so thanks very much for watching. I'm going to be heading from Seattle back to the UK on Sunday, which means that I will be arriving on Monday. Time zones are fun, aren't they? And when I get back, there will be a whole slew of hardware that I have to review, so do definitely stick with us for those reviews upcoming. I'd also like to thank all of the recent subscribers and interactions with you guys. It's been absolutely phenomenal. I'd also like to quickly remind you that there is an Amazon affiliate link if you do want to support the channel and perhaps want to buy anything, even if it's a toothbrush. It does obviously support the channel and doesn't cost you a damn penny. Or there is also a Patreon link as well. I'd also like to give a quick shout out to HP Computers for loaning us a laptop for my trip to Seattle. And just a quick reminder, this is not a sponsored video or anything, but that is to say that I will also be reviewing various HP systems when I get back to the UK, because there are obviously new systems being released with all the 9th generation stuff and the Turing architectures and so on, so they're updating all the lineup. So in preparation for that, they loaned me a laptop so I can get used to some of the features and, you know, design and that type of thing before I get back. So thanks very much to them. But with all of that said, I'll see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.